Alright guys, I'm finally back with another news update on Jazwares and Wicked Cool Toys Halo Infinite figures that they have been making. I know there is a bunch of news to talk about, and you guys have been keeping me updated on Twitter and on Facebook and commenting on YouTube. And yes, I've seen all your comments and your questions, and I've just not gotten the time to make a video. And there was also some other stuff about why I didn't talk about this news sooner, but now that they do seem to kind of be showing up on store shelves, which we'll talk about again all in the video, and I will keep you guys up to date on everything you need to know about what is going on with Series 2 of these figures. We'll talk about all of that, and then at the end I'll touch on some more videos that I will be having in the coming days and weeks concerning these figures as well. So let's get into it. Series 2 of these figures. If you guys don't know, we did get an alleged leak I believe it was a couple months ago, considering what was going to be in the Series 2 of the Jazwares toy line. I think most of us were kind of like a little bit concerned about it because it seemed like it was way too soon considering Series 1 just launched, and the leaks seemed kind of far-fetched, especially some of them we didn't know how accurate they were, and some people immediately came out and said they were fake and all that stuff. And we do actually have some official stuff not released from Jazwares, but we do have leaks from boxes that are already out on store shelves of Series 2 figures. So without further ado, let's get into the second series of the 6.5-inch Spartan collection figures that of course run you $20 here in the United States. Starting off, we have a Halo Infinite Master Chief. Obviously, we had one in the first series. Not too surprising that we're getting a second one in the second series. A lot of the Halo lines in the past have given us more than one Master Chief. This one will be including an assault rifle and a pistol, and pretty much for me, we'll just have to see how this figure, if in any way it is different than the first series' one, because hopefully they'll obviously make some improvements with all their figures, especially with the quality control. But especially with the Chief, I'd kind of like them to improve on like the shortcomings from the first series and make a really just definitive Chief figure, even though the first series already had a very solid one. Second, we have a Spartan Jerome figure from Halo Wars 2. This was present in one of the leaks, and this figure will be coming with a shotgun and a pistol. Not too much to say really. I think it's awesome that Jerome is continuing to get love after his Mattel figure we got, and I'm just super excited to get my hands on it. Next, the figure that pretty much I remember everyone getting super excited about when we got the first leaks of the second series. We are getting a 6.5-inch Emil figure from Halo Reach, coming with Emil's signature shotgun and of course his knife, and I cannot wait for this. And really, when I heard the leaks about this, I got super excited, and I just kind of started thinking about what it could be, and now that we actually have at least some like box pictures of it, it looks about what I expect. It looks good. Some of the paint, obviously, we don't know how much it's going to transition to the final like ones that end up releasing here in the United States. Some of the paint looks a bit iffy from what I've seen, especially on like all his like ammo belts that he has. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. Does not like diminish or like get rid of my excitement or anything about this figure. I cannot wait to have an Emil figure in this awesome scale with the visor, especially with that EVA helmet that he has. I absolutely cannot wait for, and I just really want to see some Halo Reach actual figures from the game, not just Halo Reach styled armors that are going to be in Halo Infinite, but just straight Halo Reach figures in the style of this collection. I cannot wait for. Next, we have the orange Gungnir Spartan from Halo Reach once again. We don't know if this is going to be the Halo Infinite version or the Halo Reach version. Just judging from it, it's a little bit different, so I'm going to assume that this armor, like they've said, a lot of the armors from the previous Halo games are going to be in Halo Infinite, and this one comes with the Halo 5 Spanker, which is also interesting, or the Halo Infinite Spanker, which is technically the same model as the Halo 5 Spanker, and a pistol. Not too much to say. I think Gungnir is a really interesting helmet. It's super weird. I remember a lot of people have lots of weird things to say about it, but Gungnir is, it's interesting, and I will not at all be opposed to having a figure of it. And finally, we have the green Mark 5B Spartan from Halo Infinite, which comes with an energy sword and the Disruptor pistol, which we also saw with the red Mark 7 Spartan that was in the first series of the Spartan collection. Not too much to say again, really. I think it's cool we're getting an energy sword in this scale, but besides that, really nothing too crazy. And yeah, guys, that's it for the second series of these 6.5-inch figures. We don't know if there's going to be more when they actually fully end up releasing, but it is worth noting that obviously in the second series we have 5, where in the first series we just had 4, and we do also have a quick look at the back of the boxes for these figures, and it does only show these 5 figures in total. So I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that these are only going to be the figures that we get. But again, I'm not like disappointed with that at all. And if you want all of these, you're going to be spending over $100 anyway, so I don't think we really need any more. But yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, I really liked the first series of the Spartan collection. I think they turned out to be very solid figures. quality control issues aside, and I cannot wait for a second series. And the more recent news comes with the 3.75-inch figures, which of course run you $10, and we do have 6 figures appearing in this second series of this line. The figures are going to be a Master Chief with an assault rifle, an Air Assault Spartan with the Needler, which interestingly enough actually seems to be sporting the Scorpion Punch armor coating that we got revealed with all the multiplayer stuff at the end of the 2020 update for Halo Infinite, which is super interesting. So actually that kind of brings up an interesting point about how much they're going to be incorporating armor coatings into the figures, or if they're going to be doing a thing where you can get the Scorpion Punch armor coating by buying this figure. But again, I also know for the first series they had their specific Wicked Cool Toys coating that you're going to be getting anyways. So we're just going to have to see how that all works out. But I do think this figure looks pretty cool, and it comes with a Needler, which I think will be super exciting. And we're getting another Elite Warlord, which is where my excitement starts to diminish a little bit, because we have had this figure in the Banished Ghost set, we've had him in the 3-pack multi-pack, so I don't think we need a third Elite Warlord, especially since it seems to quite literally be the exact same figure. So that is kind of where my disappointment starts to settle in a little bit. I would have loved if we had gotten, especially with the leaks, they turned out to not be entirely true with, well, all of this, but especially with the 3.5 or 3.75-inch figures. They were talking about maybe we'd get like an Escharum figure or things like that. That could have been really cool, but instead we're getting a third Elite Warlord that doesn't do anything different. And even if they had some kind of like paint variation or anything, which is something I'll talk about when we get to the multi-pack in a second, but if they had maybe the Elite Warlord that came with the Banished Ghost, sporting more of a Banished like paint or anything, that could have been pretty neat. But no, it's the exact same Elite Warlord in all of them. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. Then we get a Grunt Conscript with a Mangler and a Disruptor. Once again, like I already mentioned, we already had the Grunt Conscript, 2 of them actually, and that Master Chief 3-pack from the first series. So again, I'm a little disappointed we're not getting entirely new figures, but it's whatever. Continuing on with that, we are going to get a UNSC Marine. Obviously, we got one in the first series, and we got 2 of them in that Chief multi-pack. But once again, this one comes with a different weapon, so it's still pretty neat. And finally, the leaks were right about this. We are going to get a Sentinel, which obviously we got the confirmation that Sentinels were going to be returning in Halo Infinite, I think almost a year ago at this point, by some other leaks. But yeah, I mean, I think that's cool. I always kind of appreciate when the toy lines do something a little bit different than just like the basic figures, like of just elites and then like grunts, and just like something kind of different that you're like, how would they make a figure of that? I know McFarlane did that one during their anniversary line. They had the 343 Guilty Spark and the Sentinel one, which again, they're not really figures, they're just kind of like glorified statues. But I was kind of fine with that because it was different and it was cool, and it's not like that was their entire line. That was just one figure that you could get, and then if you didn't want to bother with it, you didn't have to. So I am super excited about getting another Sentinel. And that is going to be it for our second World of Halo scale line. And like I said, I'm a little disappointed with some of these choices. I don't really want another Elite Warlord. I don't want another Marine. I don't want another Grunt Conscript. I'm fine with another Chief, but really the only thing that kind of interests me here, if I'm being honest, is the Air Assault Spartan, since that's the only new Spartan. I want some more figures, especially in this scale, since they look ridiculously good in detail. I mean, obviously they could be better, but for $10 figures, you really are getting an incredible value, especially that Brute Captain figure from the first wave just looks insane for the price that you're paying for it. So especially, I'd love for them to kind of take advantage of this scale and just make tons of crazy things, especially for this World of Halo scale. Go out into the world of Halo, make interesting new figures about all the different creatures and stuff. I don't just want another Elite Warlord, another Chief, another Grunt, another Marine. So yeah, a little disappointed with that, but I am still obviously optimistic for when these figures end up releasing. And I'm sure this will change in the coming days and weeks, but we do only have one multi-pack that we know is going to be included in the second series of the Jazwares line, and this also disappoints me, but it's going to be a 3-pack multi-pack just like the 2 we got in the first wave. This one is going to include Master Chief, the White Mark 7 Spartan from the first wave, and the Jackal Sniper also from the first wave. I think it's a safe bet that this Master Chief is probably going to be the Master Chief from the first series, even though this multi-pack itself is included in the second series. I know, it gets super confusing, but this is disappointing. I mean, I was already a little disappointed with the multi-packs from the first wave, not the like 2-pack ones, but especially the 3-pack ones where you just get a Chief and 2 Marines, then the Elite Warlord and the 2 Grunts. Like, I don't know. I think especially for like people that are going to be making like full displays, they're helpful for that, and they're a pretty good price. And obviously, like I just talked about, the 3.75-inch figures I think are solid overall. If you're going to make multi-packs, especially for a second series, I kind of want you to go all out, not just literally repackaged figures from the first series. Again, all this stuff, nothing's been officially released or anything from Wicked Cool Toys, so all of this could change in the future, but this is what we have right now. We know that these figures are probably going to be at least one multi-pack together in the second series, and these have already actually been found on store shelves in Target. I will leave a link in the description to give proper credit to where they were found, but yeah, they were found at Target, so if you guys want to go out and maybe try and find a chance with these, you probably will not have any luck, but if you still want to, go out, try and find it, and if you find anything, let me know. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for the second series. We don't know anything about any more vehicle packs, we don't know anything about any more multi-packs, or any more 12-inch figures, or just anything like that. But I think it's a safe bet that as time goes on, especially, like I said, in the coming days and weeks, we will start getting bigger looks and more interesting looks at some of these figures that are probably going to be releasing in Series 2. And it is pretty crazy that these figures released a month or two ago, and they're already getting the second series. And obviously I know the game was delayed, and these figures, they weren't able to get delayed or anything, just like all the marketing stuff, the ridiculous amount of marketing stuff and collectibles that have gone into Halo Infinite. There's so much to talk about with all the collectible stuff with that game, and it sucks obviously that it was delayed. However, I do think a lot of these figures look very promising. Obviously the ones that are really standing out are the Spartan collection for me, the Jerome, the Emil figure, and the Aerosol Spartan from the World of Halo scale, but I'm definitely not as excited for this as I was from when we got those original figures revealed, and just, it seemed like the amount of variety they were going for. Again, hate to keep on re-saying this, but we don't know anything too official right now since this is all kind of up in the air, and literally anything can change. As we know, everything changed completely from Toy Fair to when the figures actually ended up releasing. There were tons of different changes. So yeah, I will just continue to make videos when we get new information, especially when we get some actual official stuff and like box stuff. I will of course have information, but it is kind of weird that especially there was just another multi-pack that just popped up, which seems to be a trend with these figures where just multi-packs keep on popping up. It's not like Jazwares ever released an official thing, so there have to be people like us online that just make posts and videos categorizing everything and just making a collection for everyone to go and like keep track of everything on. So yeah, I'm excited for the figures, just not as excited as I was for the original ones. All that being said, I want to hear from you guys what you think about all these figures, and before I go, I did quickly want to mention, I talked about at the beginning how I hadn't been able to make as many videos as I wanted to lately just because I've been busy with work and stuff, and I have not gotten a chance to talk about these Series 2 leaks, but I'll have this video up shortly after I record it. I'll edit it, I'll get that up, and then I will be doing my 2021 Halo showcase that I've done for the past 2 years where I show you guys my Halo collection, and we talk about it, and this one will be super exciting because this will be the first one where we've had a completely new line, and I have gotten my hands, I don't want to say on every single Jazwares thing, but besides the 3-figure multi-packs and the Warthog, I have everything. So I will be showing off all of that in the video, and then I think maybe in a few weeks I will be doing another big video, just a big kind of review thoughts thing just over the entire first series of Jazwares figures, and we can kind of put a bookend on that and close that up and look forward to Series 2 some more. All that being said, I want to hear from you guys what you think about these Series 2 figures, and once again, stay tuned to the channel for any information on more Jazwares Halo Infinite figures in the coming weeks and months. Thank you all for watching. Majestic Gaming.